and no one will even see me, for my helmet and I will be invisible.
Hey friends, I'm Jimmy Gaddis. Welcome to Nostalgic and another edition of Top 5 Motu Moments, where we dive into an episode of the original He-Man and the Masters of the Universe animated series and look at the 5 best moments we likely overlooked as kids. Up next, we've got the Disappearing Act. First, I'll give you a brief synopsis of the episode, which in this case, my goodness, there is so much going on. Then we'll get to the top 5 list. If you don't want to wait and you want to get right to the top moments, head to this time right here. That said, time warp, take us back to 1983.
It's done, Skeletor. I set up your activator.
Although it has no real bearing on the plot of this episode, we begin at Mount Krona. Skeletor uses his activator to make Eternia's largest volcano erupt, aiming to destroy everything around it, forcing Eternians to flee, which would then open up an opportunity to take Castle Grayskull.
Look up there!
It's He-Man! A volcanic eruption! Time to put this baby back to sleep!
Skeletor gets the ball rolling, but He-Man quickly puts a stop to it.
Thanks, He-Man!
So on to plan B, where the episode could have simply started in the first place. Skullface decides to use his invisibility helmet to sneak into the royal palace and capture Prince Adam, assuming He-Man will attempt to rescue, which would give the villains an opportunity to defeat him. Meanwhile,
Oh, this place is a mess. When's the last time you saw the floor in here?
Man-at-Arms gives Orko a scolding for having a messy room. Okay, Dad. Finding a magic wand in his literal bag of tricks, Orko uses it to attempt to clean up the mess, but in typical Orko fashion, it does not go as planned. Down the hall, Teela shows Adam the beeper that her dad made that can attract anything that flies. Apparently, the Eternia Zoo is in need of a Wolfbat exhibit, so Man-at-Arms has stepped up to help. As things get completely out of hand in Orko's room and hearing his cries for help, Teela and Adam rush to his aid. You may have noticed Adam has the power sword in hand, something we, I guess, rarely see, maybe never see, Adam just using the sword as another old weapon, but he did, but in this case it's needed for the storyline to progress, as you'll see. So, the out-of-control wand zaps the sword and makes it disappear.
My sword! It's gone!
Moments later, Man-at-Arms alerts the crew that Skeletor's Doombuster was spotted in the woods and he's likely nearby. Turns out, he's already there. He nabs Adam and takes off. Orko confesses to Man-at-Arms that he made the power sword disappear, so they seek out the sorceress to find out where it went.
The answer is that your wand sent Adam's sword back in time, into Eternia's past.
The sorceress opens the time corridor so Cringer and Orko can go back in time and retrieve it, but she's got some other plans for Man-at-Arms. Over in the woods, the bad guys lock up Adam behind these laser bars and get into position to bushwhack the most powerful man in the universe. Adam realizes he's still got Man-at-Arms beeper on him and tosses it out, hoping it'll attract Stratos to his aid. Now in the past, Orko and Cringer find a giant in possession of the power sword. A successful magic trick allows them to retrieve it and go back to the future. While all of this was going on, Man-at-Arms was hard at work making a robot He-Man, hoping that this faker will distract Skeletor so they can then get the power sword to Adam in jail so he can use it, turn into He-Man, and break free. Speaking of, back in the woods, the beeper works, but it attracts those Wolfbats before Stratos arrives to shoo them off. But it turns out there's nothing Stratos can do to help.
How can I help?
Find Man-at-Arms. Tell him where I am.
I'll find him. Count on that.
I know what you might be thinking. Hold that thought. We'll get back to that in the top 5 list. Okay, where were we? That's right, Stratos does find Man-at-Arms and is then told to go find Teela. He's just a flying errand boy, and for some reason, neither he nor Teela show up for the rest of the episode. What is going on? Yeah, they never return, we don't see them again. Robot He-Man is sent out in the attack track to distract Skeletor as planned. The diversion works, the sword is delivered, and Adam transforms. Battling a robot, Skeletor thinks he's defeated He-Man before realizing the ruse. Our real hero arrives and a tussle ensues. What do you think of that, Dr. Seuss? Having to face the real He-Man, Skeletor uses his invisibility helmet, while He-Man has Orko stripped down so he can use his robe on the Invisible Man before crushing the helmet and letting Skeletor flee, having slipped the beeper in the bad guy's belt. You follow all that? So what were the top 5 moments of this episode? I think it's about time we get to the list.
Number 5.
A post-apocalyptic looking ride. This is sweet. I was getting some serious Masters of the Universe meets Mad Max dragster vibes when this tractor rolled through Eternia's fertile plains amid the erupting volcano.
Number 4.
Wolfbats. Give me more Wolfbats. I love the countless creatures that appear in Masters of the Universe, and these Wolfbats with their extra large heads look flat out vicious. I would love to see a Wolfbats spinoff a la Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. They do appear one more time in Season 2 and again in a Season 1 episode of She-Ra.
Stop! Leave me alone! Oh, stop it!
Number 3.
The entire break Adam out of jail scenario is ridiculous. Where do we even start? All right, so Skeletor pushes the button to power up the laser bars. Stratos arrives and asks what he can do to help, to which Adam answers,
Find Man-at-Arms. Tell him where I am.
go get Man-at-Arms. How about just push the button? Push the button. It's right there. Clear as day. It's right there. I don't know, unless it's a magical button that only Skeletor can push with the power of his staff. It's all very frustrating to me. And then...
Number 2.
Have you found the sword?
Right here.
Good work.
Why was it so difficult to give Adam his sword? Instead of simply handing it off in between the lasers, Man-at-Arms throws it and comes up completely short. It lands outside the cell. A moment later, though, surprise, it's magically on the other side of the lasers. But Adam can't reach it because of his chain. Again, I stress, just push the button. Just push the button. I guess, Orko, way to save the day.
You really came through.
Number 1.
The sorceress has been sitting on a time machine this whole time. Didn't want to let anybody know about that? No big deal. Good guys could have just, gone back in time, adopted baby Skeletor, and spanked the evil out of him. Turned him good.
There's the blue off my bad baby bottom.
Seriously though, that time corridor would have come in super handy. And those are my top 5 moments of the disappearing act. Which one of those was your favorite, or would something else have made the list? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this latest edition of the series, do me a favor and share it with your Masters of the Universe loving friends. And power punch that like button and subscribe for more Motu and 80s and 90s content that's gonna make you feel nostalgic for the good old days. Don't go anywhere. We still have the moral of the story. Yeah, that's important. Don't leave. I'm Jimmy Gaddis. I'll see you next time.
Being the most powerful man in the universe isn't all that makes He-Man such a great hero. Being strong is fine, but there's something even better. In today's story, He-Man used something even more powerful than his muscles to beat Skeletor. You know what it was? If you said his brain, you were right. And just like a muscle, your brain is something you can develop to give yourself great power.